there are some breaks in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Notably, authorities have now released a picture of a person of interest, and this seems to align with the person that they have been looking for now since the shooting. They got surveillance video at this university where Charlie Kirk was shot.
Yeah, the images that they've released of the person of interest appears that they're walking in a hallway, I would assume on campus. The law enforcement said that they were able to, through use of cameras, track him arriving onto the campus yesterday.
About 25 minutes before the shooting.
Right, and moving through staircases and hallways. And then they also saw him leaving the campus. And notably, they have retrieved, while they don't have him yet, they said they have retrieved what they believe to be the weapon that was used. It was a rifle that was used to assassinate Charlie Kirk.
Found the rifle in the woods around that area. But also, when you look at this picture, it's not just the fact that you can see the image of his face, partially blocked by sunglasses, but that sweatshirt is somewhat distinctive. So what authorities, I think, are hoping is that it will be a combination where somebody says, yeah, I know that guy. I remember that shirt because it's a pretty distinctive shirt.
Right. They've also announced a $100,000 reward for any info connected to this individual.
So there are things about this investigation that are puzzling. And in particular, that whoever did this feels not like an amateur. So let's talk to somebody who's done
someone who's
cases.
Had more than 20 years experience in the FBI. Greg Shaffer is a retired agent, and he is joining us right now. Greg, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me.
So, Greg, out of the gate, it just really struck me that this horrible thing that happened was a one-shot assassination. That, when you look at things like, for example, Lee Harvey Oswald, there were multiple shots fired. This was so, precise from a long distance away and targeted so perfectly for what he was trying to accomplish. And his getaway was so stealth. It feels not like an amateur. And in particular, I noticed yesterday at the news conference, they thought they had a suspect in custody, according to Kash Patel, and yet they said, we will find you, which to me didn't feel like the same person if they thought they had a suspect in custody. So how are you kind of piecing this together, the precise shot and what was said at the news conference?
Well, you nailed it right, Harvey, when you said this was very precise, very intentional, where Charlie Kirk was targeted and he was the only one targeted. Unlike an active shooter event where there are mass casualties, we can infer from just the one shot taken that this was not a mass casualty active shooter event. This was a political assassination. The shooter took one shot, very accurate, put his target down, and then fled the scene. Had he wanted to have a mass casualty event, had he wanted to create an active shooter event, the shooter would have continued to fire into the crowd of 3,000 students. He did not do that. So it was a singular target. It was Charlie Kirk. And I wouldn't say he was professional, but he did have some good skill sets. He did have some good what we call tradecraft skills, being on the rooftop, taking a 200-yard shot. It's not impossible. It's not even that difficult, but you do have to train for it. Now, the fact that Charlie was hit on his left side neck shows that it wasn't truly a professional, because at that distance, there are only two places an assassin's going to aim. That's either going to be the face, the head, or center body mass. So if he was shooting center body mass, the shot ended up going high to the right. If he was shooting for the head shot, his shot went low to the right. So accuracy is not that great, but the round did hit the carotid artery, as you can well see in the video, with the amount of blood that was coming out of Charlie's neck, and it was an effective shot, and then he was able to escape. Now, at this time...
So, Greg, does that tell you that this individual is most likely not military, that were someone who has military experience and maybe just an avid hunter? Well, clearly, they have some skill with this weapon, even though it was not, you're saying, not, you know, a precise shot.
I don't think it tells you that he's not military. He could very well be, or he could just be an avid hunter. You know, Utah has some great hunting. I know it was a bolt-action rifle, which is very popular with hunters, with a good optic at 200 yards. Again, that shot is not that difficult. They did recover the weapon, again, with a bolt-action rifle. From what I understand, they did have partial palm print, and they did have, I think, some DNA recovered on the weapon as well. So it's only a matter of time before the FBI, quote unquote, gets its man. With that photograph now, and like Harvey, you said, a very distinctive sweatshirt, it's only a matter of time before somebody recognizes that individual, puts the phone call in, and he collects the $100,000 reward money.
Greg, one other thing that now that they've put out this photo, can we assume that this person does not have some prior record? Because this morning, early this morning, the FBI had a news conference. They said, we are not going to release his image. We are using technology, and we want to try to identify this individual. If that doesn't work, then we may release the image. And then a couple of hours later, they did. So can we infer that this person has no prior? They tried to find him in a database and were unsuccessful?
That would definitely be the inference that I would take away from this as well, yes. Like I said, I was told that there was some possible DNA recovered and a partial palm print recovered off the weapon. They ran that through the databases and came up empty. And you know, again, they were hoping to solve this using technology and not releasing the photograph. Obviously, that did not work out. But releasing the photograph, I think, is definitely the best course of action because you know, $100,000, you have to have a lot of really good, loyal friends not to turn you in for $100 grand.
Okay, Greg, as always, we really appreciate you jumping on. Thank you.
You're welcome.